The story begins by showing Noor, a 10-year-old boy who lives in the mountains with his terminally ill mother. He spends all day working and taking care of her, because nothing screams childhood like unpaid labor and watching your only parent wither away. One day, Noor hands his mother a cup of water and tells her he'll be heading up the hill to feed the goats. She warns him not to go past the rock, calling it dangerous. She also reminds him to bring back some fruits and rabbits for soup, because apparently dinner still comes before death in this house. Suddenly, Noor's mother begins coughing heavily. As he's about to leave to boil water, she calls him over, wipes the dirt from his face, and apologizes for not being able to do more for him. Later that night, Noor makes some soup and brings it to her, only to find that she has passed away. Noor is heartbroken. After cremating her, he makes a promise to live the happy life she wanted for him, which, for a kid with the raw charisma of a damp rag and no clue how the world works, is going to be one hell of an uphill climb. Though Noor has no real ambitions and even fewer talents, he keeps grinding through the days just to stay alive. The house, now silent and cold, feels even lonelier than his dreams of doing anything worthwhile. One day, while reaching for something on the top shelf, because of course he's short as hell, he falls and grabs an old book. Inside are stories his father once told him about powerful adventurers with amazing abilities who saved lives and changed the world. Unlike, say, Noor. Inspired, he decides this is what he wants. The next day, he leaves a fat pile of hay for the goats, visits his parents' graves, and tells them he's going to become an adventurer. He asks for their blessing, though if they were still alive, they'd probably just tell him to sit down and think this through. Soon after, Noor sets off on his journey. He steps beyond the barrier for the first time, probably amazed the sky doesn't fall on him. He spends a night in the woods without dying, somehow. And the next day, he finally reaches the city. At the gates, he asks the guards for directions to the Adventurers Guild. They point him the way, probably while wondering if this twig-armed gremlin actually plans to fight anything larger than a chicken. Inside the city, Noor is blown away by the crowd. He sees people living, working, and thriving all in one place, like a real civilization and not whatever goat-powered nightmare he grew up in. Then he spots an adventurer, and his eyes light up like someone just handed him a sword and a personality. He reaches the Adventurers Guild, steps inside with all the confidence of a guy who's never failed at anything, yet, and asks to register. The receptionist takes one look at him and politely tells him to go home. He's too young, and besides, this isn't daycare for daydreaming orphans. Noor tells him his parents are dead, and he has no one else. Becoming an adventurer is all he has left. Moved by Noor's situation, and probably the sheer audacity of this walking liability, the receptionist softens. He says Noor can apply once he's learned a skill. Swordsmanship, archery, magic, anything useful. Then he'll be eligible. Noor is thrilled. He thanks the man and takes off to enroll in training. He picks swordsmanship, of course, because nothing screams prepared like a kid with zero muscle mass dreaming of killing dragons in one hit. Training begins. While practicing, he watches another student unlock a skill and becomes even more determined. Weeks pass. Students unlock abilities left and right. Except for Noor. 3 months in, the only thing he manages to unlock is parry, the official skill of guys who can't hit back. The instructor eventually tells him to give it up. Noor begs for more time, swearing he'll improve. The instructor sighs and tells him it's hopeless. Noor hasn't shown progress, and it's unlikely he ever will. He suggests Noor try a different profession, something that doesn't involve swords or basic motor coordination. Still, Noor doesn't quit. He moves to warrior training, because when you can't master light combat, why not just add more weight and die faster? 3 months later, that instructor also tells him to stop. Noor's progress is non-existent, and he's warned that if he keeps this up, he might not just fail, he might not survive. Noor moves on to hunter training. He destroys every bow he touches like he's waging war against archery itself. He tries spy school next. Unfortunately, his stealth is on par with a screaming goat in a china shop. He can't sense anything, can't sneak, can't even not be seen. Then he tries magic, and while his mana is almost non-existent, he manages to learn a few basic spells. The instructor is mildly impressed, not because Noor's good, but because it's rare to see someone with so little magical ability even light a candle. As a final attempt, Noor trains to be a healer. He learns how to heal scratches. That's it. Scratches. No deep wounds, no illnesses, just minor boo-boos. Defeated but not broken, because even failure can't kill this kid's stubborn streak, Noor returns home. He still believes he can become an adventurer. His plan: practice what little he has and pray something changes. So he trains, day in, day out. After a year, he can parry 10 sword strikes with one motion. After 3 years, 100. After 10 years, he can parry the whole damn forest in one swing. But new skills? Still zero. This poor bastard is a one-trick pony in a world that wants warhorses. Noor returns to the guild, ready to try again, now 10 years older, with no new skills, but still clutching onto his dream like a delusional raccoon holding a flashlight. He approaches the front desk to register as an adventurer, once again, because apparently his brain missed the memo labeled, "Give it up, you skill-less turnip." The new receptionist takes one look at him and says there's nothing she can do. No skills means no dice. Just as Noor is about to sulk his way back into obscurity, the old receptionist appears, now the guild master. Noor immediately recognizes him, while the guild master takes a second to remember this dried-up side quest of a human. The guild master explains the adventurer ranking system, from S to E. To even sniff E rank, one must have a single actual, not made of pity skill. But somehow there's still a glimmer of mercy for Noor. He tells him about F rank, a rank created for people with 4 working limbs and absolutely nothing else. Perfect for Noor, the world's most determined paperweight. The only work offered to F ranks is menial labor, usually reserved for beggars, bottom feeders, and people whose only skill is I exist. Noor, who by this point probably thinks garbage duty is a step up, accepts the offer like it's a promotion. The guild master sighs and hands over the F-rank license, basically a badge that says, "You can carry shit." The next day, Noor gets to work doing every backbreaking, dignity-vaporizing task available. Carrying crates, catching cats, cooking basic meals for picky assholes, and cleaning drains like the glorified mop with legs that he is. Still, the sad little optimist is genuinely happy. He made it somewhere. A few days later, while finishing up a construction job, Noor goes to get his task signed off. While talking to the foreman, he notices strange light flickering from a dungeon entrance nearby. Because of course there's a dungeon next to a worksite. Why wouldn't the universe park certain death right behind the wheelbarrows? Then he hears it, a woman's voice screaming for help. Noor, running purely on impulse and lack of survival instinct, bolts into the dungeon without a plan or a brain cell in sight. After all, this is Noor, janitor turned hero by accident. Inside, he stumbles into a disaster. A girl is trapped in a magic spell circle, and a squad of knights is getting absolutely folded by a minotaur, a hulking beast built like it eats gym equipment for breakfast. Noor freezes, both because of the danger and because it's probably the first time his fight-or-flight response got activated without running away first. The minotaur tears through the guards like they're made of tissue paper. After butchering the last one, it turns its massive, slobbering head toward the girl. Noor, in an act of "oh shit, do something," throws a rock at the beast's eye. It hits. The minotaur gets pissed. Really pissed. It charges him like a freight train, and Noor, this half-trained parry goblin, starts running like his miserable little life depends on it. When the minotaur swings, he manages to deflect the blow using parry, his one trick. His sword starts breaking. The monster redirects back to the girl, locked on the glowing red gem on her ring. Just as the axe is about to fall, Noor jumps in and parries again, saving her by sheer reflex. The impact completely shatters his sword. Now unarmed and probably ready to shit his pants, Noor remembers his father's words, some motivational speech about not dying, and finds just enough strength to stay standing. The minotaur charges again. Noor gives it one last, desperate parry. Boom. The minotaur's own axe rebounds and slices off its head. Just like that, Noor, the human doormat, actually takes down a monster that wiped out trained soldiers. The girl's spell fades. She runs to Noor, thanks him, and asks for his name. He shrugs it off with a, "It's not important, because apparently now he's cool or some shit." The real knights show up late, of course. Noor limps back to the city in silence, thinking about how that thing wasn't even a demon, just a particularly angry cow with an axe. And he barely survived. He clenches his fists, swears to himself, and vows to get stronger. Because if that was a warm-up, this walking side quest is going to need more than just parry and dreams to stay alive.